This headline, it's from The Economist, which is a powerful and influential magazine based in London. The sinister disappearance of China's bosses, detentions, public shaming, suicides intensify the country's corporate gloom. Mitchell Silk is with us. During the first Trump administration, you were the assistant at the Treasury for international markets. Mitchell, thanks very much for joining us this morning. You know what we're talking about here. It seems China's economy is not in great shape. Does that give us leverage in these trade talks?
Stuart, thanks very much for having me on this morning. It all really is a part of finding the pressure points, settling a solid plan, a solid framework that is comprised of desired outcomes that come out of the trade talk, and very importantly, focusing on the pressure points that we can use for leverage to get the Chinese to come to the table where they are and to keep them there. So very much yes.
Soybeans are pretty much one of the pressure points, aren't they? Because they're not buying our soybeans. Our soybean farmers are suffering. Is this topic one in these trade discussions?
It's just another example of the Chinese playing a pressure point against us. Let's take a look back at the phase one trade negotiations. Again, there we had a solid plan. We had desired outcomes that were dictated from the top down as informed by bottom-up analysis, very strong analysis. We had a playbook. We brought the Chinese to the table through pressure, through tariffs and other means, and we kept them there. Now, we had agricultural issues during phase one. The Chinese went after our poultry producers. They went after our shrimp fishing companies. They went after a bunch of our fruit producers and imposed a fair bit of pain on peach growers, blueberry growers, cherry growers, considerable numbers, very comparable to the situation with soybeans in aggregate numbers. And there we stood the line. And we realized $80 billion in purchases over 2 years of agricultural products under similar circumstances.
Okay, you're the Treasury official who was the architect behind Trump's 2019 China trade framework. You've been in the room. You've negotiated with Beijing. Take us into the room. What's it like?
Well, first of all, Stuart, thanks for the compliment. I can't take credit for being the sole architect. We had a bunch of great folks across the whole of the interagency that worked really hard on our positions and ultimately brought back very good results for the American people. Inside the room, a lot of games, a lot of funny business, a lot of psychological warfare. Our position was to stay the course on substantive points and stay the course on process. So, you know, protocol-wise, for example, how was it in the room? How would you feel if you had spent 4 weeks preparing for an important meeting, in this case, an engagement with the Chinese trade team for the first time, drafted up a very thoughtful and considered draft document, sent it across a couple of weeks prior to the first meeting, and then had the Chinese deliver a counter document the morning that we arrived in Beijing for the meetings. So yeah. In response to that psychological play, Secretary Mnuchin walked in, thanked very graciously his guest, Vice Premier, and said, "Thank you, but no thank you. We're going to work off of our draft." And it was just psychological attempt after psychological attempt on the protocol. And the game is to stay the line and not allow it to phase you.
That's fascinating. Mitchell Silk, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Stuart.